There we go. Okay. I should probably move that. Alright, I hope that's fine. I think everybody is like notified now. Okay, so let's start working through assignment 5. First things first, let me go and copy over all these files so we can use them. So we have this, Skynet, gadgets lit. So this one needed, what, this? The source file? And then the other one needed these two. I probably shouldn't have just dragged that. There we go. Okay, so that should be okay. I already made 2 projects, so this one's the Skynet one. And then, yeah. So let's take this, so I've got Skynet, and then we'll do that. And then I have this other one source here, that's the assignment 5 one, and then I'll take that and copy and paste. Alright, so I should have both of those. This one shouldn't compile because we don't have gadgets.h written yet. I hope that doesn't affect my other thing. No, I can't comment the whole thing out. Let's just leave this blank for now. We'll come back to it. I don't know if it'll give an error. I assume it won't because I'm going to compile this project instead, though I want the Skynet in it. But just in case. So Skynet one should be pretty straightforward, I think. It really just generates that gadgets.h file. Right, so this was all just me commenting. This is the main. I'm going to scroll this out a little bit. Hopefully it's still readable. So we have read file, and then, right, I modified it a little bit so that it was easier to parse for everyone. So it was, the first line was just garbage, and then it was gadget, and then the name, and then colon, and then the description. Right, so that throws the first line away. So we have string temp, so I'm going to temp, I need to read, oh, whoa, what am I doing? We have a stream, if stream called f, so f into temp, so I'll read the gadget part. That should be okay, since I assume that's formatted correctly. And then the next part would be the name, so then if I do f temp, and I'll remember to do it down here again. So read the gadget for the next line. Oops. And then we'll read the name here. And then with the name, we need to get the description. So let's see here. So I don't remember. The gadget, I think, was a struct. Yeah, so everything's public. Okay, so I can just read directly into that then. Let's do I have a temp gadget? No, I don't. So let me make a gadget. We'll just call it temp gadget. And then I will read straight into the name. And then the next part would be a colon. So get line, and then a colon. So I'm reading from F. I'll just put it into temp, which will store all the garbage for now. And then I will read up to a colon. Read up to the colon. Oh, I'm sorry. Get line's not a file member. It's just its own function. Okay, there we go. So we'll get the the semicolon, or not the semicolon, the colon part. So beginning of each line, we'll read that. We'll read this next string. We'll read this just to get over it, and then I will read the rest of this, and I'll just do that with get line, I guess, just to be safe. So get line F, and we'll read into temp gadget dot description now, and then I'll just read to the end of the line, so that's okay. And then we'll do this to prematurely, I talked about in the last stream too, to prematurely read the next line so that we can just trigger the end of file early and kind of get it done correctly. So let me just F9 there. I think I already have the source. Oh no, I didn't specify it as a command line argument, so it's gonna not work. I'm gonna debugging. It's gonna take a while to start here, and then it should give me an error. Alright, debugging, and we want the command line argument to be gadgets.source. So we're gonna read in that file and then do this stuff with it. Okay. Let's try and go again. It just prints hello world. That's not what I want. I would like it to build and run this one. Question is, how do I specify to run this one? I guess I'm kind of lazy and I usually use the default thing that makes all the projects for me. I guess I don't know how to make it work directly. I might just have to copy and paste. Right, so if I run this again, is it gonna, yeah, it's gonna do the hello world part. That's not good. So it main Queen Skynet run code analysis batch run project only just gives me the option to build. Which means I could run like some sort of command line part, I guess. Oh well, I'm gonna do this the lazy way. I'm just gonna copy and paste it here and run it until it looks right. So let's just check the list to make sure that I parsed it. Oh wait, I didn't even add to the list, so this is gonna be incorrect. Executable gadget name or gadget file header. Oh yeah, right. So I have to give that too. So the command line arguments were debugging. The command line arguments, which I've gotten rid of, I guess, were the gadgets.source, so the place to read from, and then the output file, which is that one. Okay, and then I need to remember here to go and put into the list, so list.pushback the temp gadget that I created. Okay, there we go. Now, hopefully this should work. Cool, so we get here, I think, hopefully. Maybe it's not running yet. It's taking a while to run. And it's getting a lot of memory. Alright, so there's maybe an infinite loop. Let's find out. So it does get here. We continue. And then I go here. We do this. The name is getting set to absolutely nothing. So that's good. Oh, it's right, because I didn't include the file. I only put it in the other project. So let's copy that over. Then really quick. Yeah, we don't have gadgets.source. That would definitely be the issue. So let's go here. We need this. And then I'll just do that. Alright. Now, if I hit continue, it does get to the end. Cool. We get list size 15. This all looks pretty fair. Is the last one springs? Last one springs, and there are 15 because there's 16 lines and the first one's garbage. Alright, cool. So we have the list parsed and read. Now we just got to go through the kind of copy and pasting part. So we need to generate each class so that it looks like this. So this function is passed the stream to write out to, which is going to be the gadgets.h file, and then the list of gadgets that we want. So I could do that for each syntax, but I don't remember exactly what it is in C++, and I don't feel like looking it up, so we'll just say for int I equals 0, I less than gadgets.length.size, just function call, and then I++, and then, I don't know, I'll just do it that way. So f out is where I'm writing to, and then I need to write it like this, so I need to write the word class, and then a space, and then I need to write binoculars, which would be the gadgets sub I dot name, and then I need to write this public gadget t, there we go, throw in an end line, and then I need to write public, and then we'll say end line, and then we need to write the class name for the constructor, so I'm going to put a tab there, I guess, and then we'll put gadgets dot name, oh, gadget sub I, because it's a list, right? So gadget sub I would be an individual gadget, and then I need to put a space again, colon, gadget t, that, there we go, quotation mark, and then we put the name again, gadget sub I dot name, ending thing, and then this, and then that. End line. And then we have to write this one, which that's just straightforward, that's just the thing. So void go gadget. End line. And I'm going to put 2 end lines just to make it look nice. Void go gadget, and then we need end line, and then there's this print statement. So I guess what we'll do is we'll throw another tab here, and then standard cout that. Oh, right, and then there's a quotation mark. So there's this, and then we have to print the description of this thing. So that would be gadget sub I dot description. Right, and then we just need to put the closing quotation mark on it, and then the end line. So there's that, and then end line. I guess I do need this as well, and then a semicolon. Did I put a semicolon on the other one? I guess I didn't need it. Okay, so this should be alright. That should be these 2 lines, and then we just need to put the close part to the class. So f out, and then we'll just put the closing brace, semicolon, and that should be it. I'll put an end line, if I can spell it right. Okay, and hopefully that should work. So that should be the build classes function, and then the other one's going to be pretty much just the same thing, so I'm just going to copy and paste this because we need to go through the list again. And then this one generates the magic function, right? So that's going to have the header and then all of the gadgets inside of it. So we will write f out, and then we'll write the name of the magic function, which is just void. I think it was void, right? I guess I didn't actually give that. So it does say it at the top, I think. Yeah, void magic function, that, and then we do the if thing equals name every single time. So first off, we will just f out the function declaration with name, and then we'll just maybe do a switch statement or something. I don't know. Let's just do a switch statement rather than an if. So we'll say switch, and then we'll base it off the gadget name. So switch gadget name, there's that, and then end line, and then we just need to write each of the cases. So f out case, and then we're going to base that off the gadget name. So gadgets sub I dot name, and then I need that for the case part, and then end line, and then I'll write the case itself. So for each of these, it looks like we just want to return a new object, I think. So it was like if the gadget name is that, then we set g equal to this part and return. Oh, I suppose I need the quotation marks too, so let's do that. So f out, and then we'll print this, and then obviously this part would be the gadget name, not just binoculars, but whatever the gadget's name is. So gadgets I dot name, and then we'll put an end line, And then I said I needed to put quotation marks around this because it's a string and that's how I'm comparing it. Alright, and then I need to write a return. So f out, return, and then end line. And then I shouldn't need a break because I have the return there. Right, so that should print all the cases, and then at the very end maybe I just want to default and then to end the string itself. So we'll say f out, and then I'll say default. I'll just do it all in one line. Default \n, and then we want to maybe just set g equal to null, I would say. And then I'll set the return, and I think that's okay. Okay, and then I'll put another thing there, close the switch statement, and we should be alright. I think that's everything. Alright, so that might be all of Skynet. Let's find out. Let me close that. Assuming I don't get any seg faults, that's good. I go here, and we have gadgets.h, and I think that looks okay. So we have class public gadget t, public binoculars. There's that. Go gadgets. Has an end line and a semicolon. That has a semicolon. These all look good. Generates all the way up to springs, which was the last one. That's not tabbed, which is a little annoying, but oh well. This looks hideous, but I think it's right. Switch gadget t, case binoculars g. That all looks right, and then default g equals no. Let me maybe throw a tab in there just to make it look nicer for everyone. So I think it would be nice to have a tab here, not that, and then a tab there, and then I guess that's probably alright. So it runs, finishes, we can look at it really quick. So let's reload it. Ah, there we go. Everything's tabbed now. Except for this. Whatever. It's okay. Return. Oh, I'm missing the semicolon to the actual function itself, too. So \n. There we go. Alright, so let me run this one last time. We should have a good okay gadgets.h file now, I assume, for running. So I'm going to just copy and paste this into my copy file over here. So now we have Skynet, so I can post it on Canvas. Alright, now let's go and look at the skeleton assignment 5 and try to write this one. So first things first, does it actually compile? No. Oh, it's because I haven't included the header file. So we just made it, but we need to actually include it in the project, so I'm just going to go and add that in there. And then obviously, when you're compiling this, normally you would just do it in the command line, but that's how I do it in Visual Studio. So no default constructor exists for class ENT, which is correct. We need to actually add that in. So I remember this one. We'll just do it as inspector gadget. And the reason being, this inherits from ent in C++, forces you to call a base class constructor whether you want to or not. So the base class here is ent, and the derived class that we're working in is IGT. And ent only has a constructor that takes a name, so I'm just going to give this the name inspector gadget and have it constructed that way. Now it seems that there's a problem with gadgets.h because it's saying that there is an issue here. So let's see, public gadget t expression must have a constant value. Now why is that? I wouldn't assume I have to include any sort of library here. Gadget t binoculars. Expected a semicolon. Why? This shouldn't have. Oh, I'm forgetting the go gadget. I'm forgetting the end bracket. All right, so let's copy and paste this into here so I can keep it, and then let's go grab the Skynet one again. Void magic. So it was in the class part, right? And then I didn't close the go gadget function off. So \n. There we go. If I run it one more time, it looks like that's fine. So it runs it. This is okay. That looks fair enough. Let's go back here, grab this, and try it again. The default constructor of binoculars cannot be referenced. Well, it seems to be alright with the gadgets.h file now, so that's good. Nope, no it's not. I lied. The constant expression has const char instead of string. Okay. Alright, fine. Include string. Is that what you want? And then it probably wants using namespace standard. So I might have to go add these to the other thing really quick. Is that alright? Expression must have a constant value. So what is the problem now? Semicolon. So some sort of syntactic issue up here. I just don't see exactly what that would be. Class binoculars, public gadget T. Expression must have a constant value. So let's just go here and write it as if I was writing it normally. Binoculars, public gadget T. Then it works fine. And so if I do binoculars and then I put gadget T binoculars, that's alright. So it does seem to be an issue with some sort of syntax somewhere else. Question is where's my difference? So I guess we can go and look. It's probably alright for me to show the solution now, which I don't have. That's unfortunate. Okay, so we got to figure out where this syntax error is. Expression must have a constant value. So there's clearly like a missing brace somewhere, I would guess. Maybe it's here? This is unmatched, maybe? Expected a semicolon. Oh, that would definitely be an issue. Ah, okay. Yeah, let me fix that. So I'm not putting a semicolon after the new gadget part, which I think... I guess I'm calling it dynamically, so I need to actually call it like it's a function. So... I'm going to need this part and then a semicolon and then an endline. Alright, maybe that was the issue. Okay, let's... No. I'm just going to close this now. Try one more time. Still an issue. Gadgets.h. And it's still giving me some sort of thing here. Oh, I didn't put the... Duh. I didn't put the actual part after that, did I? For the constructor, I forgot to put the arguments. That would be it. That would definitely be it. Now I'm just clicking all over the place. Alright, come on. Thank you. So let's go back to this, and then the last thing I'm missing was in the constructor, which was up here. And what I was missing is this needs arguments to the constructor, or like a parameter list. And then for the sake of, again, just making this look nice, let's put a tab here and a tab here. And then we'll say that's probably alright. Okay. So once again, let me copy and paste this into this one, and then we will take the assignment 5 and put it in, and then hopefully it's alright now. Well, okay, that looks a little bit better. Now there's just a problem down here. Expression must have an integral or enum type. C++ doesn't support that for switch statements. Wow, okay. That's strange. Okay, I guess we have to do the if-else part then. Oh well, that's alright. So let's rewrite this really quick. So I can't use a switch statement, so I gotta throw this out. Because I guess it only allows it for enums. Which I could rewrite this to do, or like use, but I think that's alright. So we'll say if gadget name is equal to this one here, and then now I have that, then I need two statements now, so I'll need this, and then \n, and then that. And then now this should be okay for the if statement, I hope. So we'll copy and paste that, and then we'll take a look at gadgets.h. Okay, so it ran. And now there are more errors. Fantastic. What seems to be the issue? Am I forgetting something? I have an extra thing at the end. Oh, I have default too. I forgot to delete that. That would be it. So I can't have this. We'll just put else. Else, and then this, and then yeah, that should be alright, I think. Here's that. Let's take a look at gadgets.h first. G equals null. Null is undefined. And then these are giving errors for some reason. Gadget t pointer identifier gadget t is undefined. Okay, that makes sense because we haven't defined it yet. Standard has no member c out. So I think I'm going to need to put the IO stream at the top. And then I guess null is probably an IO stream as well. Maybe that's why that's doing that. Right, so let's just throw that at the top of the file, which I guess would be this part up here. So we'll say fout include IO stream, and then we'll just throw in 2 end lines. Now I don't think I wrote this in the right function, did I? No. Or file. I have 2 files. This is the correct one, so let's actually put it here. Build classes, we'll put that at the top. And now if it runs, I'll copy it back over. Has include IO stream, doesn't know what gadget t is, which is okay. And expected a ending brace. Did I forget to put the ending brace for the class? Looks like it. Right, I forgot to put the ending brace for the GoGo gadget. I thought I already took care of that. No? I guess not. Maybe I wrote that somewhere else and I just put it in the wrong file. So I need to make sure gadget t, GoGo gadget, c out, and line. This has a ending brace here, and then this is the one for the class. So maybe we're okay. Yeah, it looks like the only issue is with the gadget t now, which is what I want. Incomplete type is not allowed. Perfect. Okay, I think that's all right. All right, now we can maybe start on the main program. Very nice. Recognizes gadget t. Okay, we're error free. We're good. So gadgets.h looks like it's all right now. That was the easy part. It took me that long, so you know, who knows how well I'm going to do on this. Right, so we already started writing that, and then gadget t is an abstract, so your code, one line of here to write a abstract function named GoGo gadget with no parameters. Okay. So void GoGo. Well, I guess I need it to be virtual. Virtual void GoGo gadget equals 0. That should be it. Cool. So that's the abstract. That's how we mark it, right? Is we just set it equal to 0 in C++ because there's no keyword abstract in this language. Alright, so next part we have here is we have the constructor, which is going to read the file, and then I think we want it to initialize the array. So I'm going to delete all this stuff here. I don't think we need it anymore. So first things first, let's copy the L and the W. So we need to keep the length and the width to know how big our array is in the first place. And then I think I need to do the array allocation here. So we had a triple pointer, which was a 2D array of pointers. So these two pointers were the 2D part. This was the length, the width, and then this is the actual element itself, which is a pointer, is the way this was intended to be used. And then we have this other stuff, which I guess we don't need. I think I threw this in here just to make things easier, but I don't think you actually needed it. Maybe you did. I'm not sure. We'll have to double check. I'm going to use it anyways, I guess. Right, so we've set the L and the W, which is the length and the width of this 2D array, so that we can use it later. We should actually maybe allocate the array. So first things first, I need to allocate all the rows. So gadgets equals new gadget T pointer pointer, and then we'll base that off the length. And again, these are symmetrical. I got a lot of questions about it. So you could have interchanged which one you did first. You could have done W first and L first, and it would have worked, but it's normal to do rows first, then columns, because that's how matrices are set up in math, and that's typically the way that when people are mapping memory, they think of it as well, I would say. The other way works as well, but I think most compilers actually do it this way, even though, you know, it doesn't matter the way you write it. The compiler generally does it that way, so I think it makes sense to do it that way too. Right, so we've allocated each row here, and then we need to allocate each column within each row. So we'll need to go, so for int I equals 0, I less than L, I plus plus, and then we'll need to set gadgets sub I equal to a new gadget T pointer, and it will be W long. Right, so that should be every element in the row. Now we have that taken care of. Let's just make this like that so I can do some more things. And then what I want to do is, now that I've allocated each row, which is W long, I want to go through that row and initialize all of the pointers within that one to null, because I think that will make things easier later. So we'll say here, and for the sake of efficiency, let's just go up int I, okay, iteration variables for later. And I'll just remove this. So we'll say for j equals 0, j less than w, j plus plus, and then we'll say that gadget sub I sub j equals null. Okay, so now we should have a 2D array that's L tall and W wide, and it's completely full of nulls, which is good. That seems like a decent place to start. And I think that's okay. I don't think we need to set anything else. So after this, it calls build, which actually reads from a file. And I guess we're writing this down here later. That's all right. So we'll read from the file, and that will be okay. So we need to deallocate. We'll need to do it in the opposite order that we did here. So whereas we allocated the rows, then the columns, and then the elements in the array itself, we will need to delete the elements in the array, then delete the rows, then delete the columns. So first things first, we'll say for int I, let's just write two of these up here, I, j, and I need two for loops to go through it. So for I equals 0, I less than L, I plus plus, for j equals 0, j less than W, j plus plus. So go through the rows, and this part goes through the columns. Now what I need to do is delete every element at position ij, assuming that it's not still null. So we initialized it to null just if it was empty, but later in the program we might be putting gadgets into it. So if we have a gadget in the array, we should actually probably deallocate it so that we don't get a memory leak. So what I'm going to do is say if gadgets sub ij is not null. So if there is a gadget pointer at this location, then we will delete it. Sub I sub j, and this works because the array is full of pointers, so I'm allowed to erase those pointers. So we have like 3 levels of indirection here, where the last level is pointing to gadget somewhere else in memory, and we know if we have a pointer to that gadget, then we should probably remove the gadget that's there. So delete the gadget being pointed to. Right, and then after that is done, so this will go through all of those. Let's make another semicolon up here. Right, so I'll need to delete, and this part is an array, the gadgets sub I. So after deleting everything in the row, we'll delete the row itself. So this part actually goes through row I and then deletes all of the elements from 0 to W using J as a counter. And then here we know that the row is now cleared because we've removed everything out of it, so we can delete that row itself because that row was something that we dynamically allocated as well up here. Right, we allocated each row individually. So allocate the elements of the row. Let's just comment this. So allocate. This allocates the rows, and this allocates the elements of the row. Okay, so that's the destructor, and then the last thing we should do is probably delete the columns, which is the pointer itself. Or I guess this would be the delete the pointers to the rows. Okay, I think that deallocates everything. We have GoGoGadget, which is void, and we're gonna have to write that later. So I think we have to write all 3 of these later. Right, so print gadgets will print everything in the array. This one should be pretty straightforward. So I'll just use one variable here, that should be alright. So for int I equals 0, I less than the count, which we'll say we'll just set later, I++, and then we'll say, oops, not 4. We have the gadgets array, which we assume we've already allocated because we did that in the constructor. So we'll just say, for the sake of simplicity, actually, you know what, I have L and W. No, I should do it this way. This is alright. I think this is easier. The other way you could have done this, that I think most people ended up doing, is just do 2 for loops that go from I equals 0 to L, and then J equals 0 to W, and then print each thing if it's not null, which is fine. I guess what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep track of how many things are actually in the array itself, which may or may not be a good thing. Who knows? Yeah, this should be fine. I think this is more efficient. So we'll say the first one should be the division. Right, that would be the row, so this should be okay. So we'll say count divided by W, and then count mod W. And we want to print that. So these are gadgets, so we have get name, and then we'll say end line. Now I should actually probably write this to cout, not just call the function. That would make a lot more sense. And that should be good with the way I write it. So, you know, if you do this a different way where you just made sure it's not null before printing it, that's okay too. I think this is just, it makes sense to me. And then this one is basically the same thing. We just need to go through and go through all of the elements that are allocated, and then GoGoGadget all should call GoGoGadget on each of them, which is the function that we wrote earlier in that gadgets.h file that prints the description. So this is void, it will print it already. And then what I think we're supposed to do is print GoGoGadget. Now what is this? Expression must have integral or unscoped enum type. Oh, well I can't put nline here, it's void. Okay. Nice. So this will print GoGoGadget, maybe we're just missing the go-go gadget part itself, which I think was in the output. Let's just put it in just to be fair about it. So we'll print go-go gadget, and then we'll just print the name, I guess. Probably do this a little bit more efficiently with this part, but that's all right. So we'll say get name, so we'll print the name of it, and then end line. I don't remember if that's the exact output, but I think it will get the idea across. Okay, fair enough. And then now we gotta write the build part. Okay, I think that's fair. I thought there was another go-go gadget thing here. Oh, I guess it's this one. We'll just copy and paste later. Alright, so the build function takes a file and then builds based off of it. So it populates the array. So we're assuming that the array has already been allocated because we do that only in the constructor, and then we deallocate it only in the destructor here. So let's actually go, I don't need that anymore. And the first thing is gadgets.list, so I think it's just the names of these things, right? So we'll just need the string to hold it into, so string name, maybe. And then we'll keep track of count. So I guess I put count here, but I didn't initialize it. So let's go back up to the constructor really quick, and then let's just make it count equals 0. Oh, it said equal to 0 by default, and we can just increment it as we go. Now, actually, I guess we don't need to do that. I take it back. Let's remove that. I'm going to do it in the build file, and the reason why is that I'm going to account for the upgrades part. And so I think this is fine. So let's just say count equals 0 if upgrade, which is a boolean, which just says, have we upgraded this before, or is this an upgrade, which we only do after we've built the first time. So here I'll just say cout, I think you put like upgrades or something, that's what it said in the rubric. So there's that. That should be all we have to do. I think we can account for everything else all right. So I'm just going to set upgrade equal to true. So set the flag that we have built the array already. That should be okay. I don't think it's ever initialized, so I guess we'll have to do that up here. Set upgrade to false by default. So we'll just say we haven't upgraded anything when we start the object, but when we actually, go and build something, that it's upgraded. Okay. So we set upgraded to true, and then we just need to read all these in and then instantiate the gadgets themselves. So we'll say while, let's open a file really quick. Let's open a file to read from. So we'll create ifstream here, we'll call it infile, I guess, and then we'll open it using the file name that we have up at the top. So open file, and then we'll start reading from it. So let's say while not file.end of lot file has no member EOF. I thought it was a function call. Am I wrong? Oh, in file. File is the file name. In file.end of file. So while we're not at the end of the file, and just as a double check, while count is less than L times W. While the file still has things and we still have room in the array. So we'll just keep track of count, make sure it's less than the allocated space, which would be L rows and W columns, so L times W in 2D. So let me just make sure I put count plus plus at the end here. And then what we need to do is we need to go through each thing and read in into it. So that would be what the magic function does. So the magic function takes gadget t pointer pointer, which is the place in the array that we want it to be. So we'll say gadget sub count divided by w, and count mod w. And that should get the correct place based off of how many things we've read so far. And then that itself is a gadget pointer pointer pointer. And with the way this is set up, we need to get its address in order to do it correctly. And then the second part is the gadget name, which is the thing that we're actually reading in. So I guess I do need some sort of string here, which I already did. So we'll just say in file, we'll just say get line in file name, read the next name from the file. And then just for caution's sake, let's do it this way, where I put it at the very end. Why is it saying count is not? Oh, because I haven't finished that line. Okay. So we'll do the same thing that we did on the last one, where we kind of preemptively read the next line just to trigger end of file in advance. What we're going to do is we're going to call the magic function, which creates and stores a pointer, and we're going to call it and tell it to put it into the array, and we're going to give it the name that we just read, which would be name. And what we should do as well to avoid memory leaks is, in case this is an upgrade, then we want to check if gadgets sub count divided by w count mod w is not null. So if there is already an object pointer here, delete the old one. So let's make sure, just in case, that if we already have an old one and this is an upgrade session, that we actually go and delete the previous one that was there, so that we don't get a memory leak. And then this will create the new gadget and put it in the array. Now I'll hope that that works. I think that's about everything. We deleted the old one, we put the new one in, we increment the count to say how many things we've gotten, and then we read the thing. I think that's good. And then this here is just go gadget, so it goes through the array and then checks exactly where it is. So let's just do this. So it really just checks if the name matches, then we print it. And again, really it's just the same sort of thing as this. So I'm going to just copy and paste. So we'll say here if the matching name is equal to the name of the current gadget, then we will see out we want to call gadget on it, so we want to just call that, which would be the gadget itself, and then we'll call the gadget on it. So we have gadget. So call the gadget if this is the matching gadget. And then following that, we just want to return from the function, and then I suppose we'll put cout error match not found. So if we didn't find it, print an error. And so the reason this works is because, right, this will return if it finds the match. So if the match matches the gadget in the array and the names match, then we'll call gadget and just return from the function early, so we don't have to keep searching through the rest of the array. And then otherwise, if we went through the whole array and got to the end of this for loop and there was nothing left, then we will just go and tell the person that we didn't find anything. Right, so that just appears to be everything. let's try and run it really quick, and we'll see if it seg faults or anything like that, which I'm sure it's bound to, and it does. So we clearly have some sort of issue. Now if I hit continue, it may actually tell me where it is. No, it's giving me a bunch of different errors with nothing helpful in particular. Alright, well that's not good. Let's just go to main then really quick. And there's clearly an issue with my allocation. Or one of my allocations, I'm sure. So we go here, we set test. That just makes a binocular for free. This should be alright. And then we go to instantiate inspector gadget. So it goes, it sets the name, it sets the L and the W, it allocates the array. We get that it seems to allocate pretty alright here. If I continue, we get to build, and it goes to build. Gives us this, and then it opens the file, does it okay. Gets to here, seems to be alright. So it seems to build alright. Okay, that looks good. And then we do go gadget, and then hopefully this is alright as well, and it appears to have an issue. So that was in go gadget. Let me close this, I don't need it anymore. Right, so we managed to get through the build, and apparently I failed one of the parts that I thought was somewhat easier, so I think it was here. Let's run it again. So I continue. Count is hopefully initialized to 6, which I think is how many things were in that file, right? Let's look back at gadgets.list. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things in there. So I appear to be counting everything correctly in the build function, and then it goes down here, and it goes and it gets the name, and that's where it seg faults. Right, so whatever I'm reading from, apparently the name is not getting set. Let's run it one more time. So if I go here, we see that matches binoculars, and if we look at this gadgets, I appear to be setting it incorrectly in some way. So our build function seems to be not good. There's something up with it. Right, where do we write that? Right here? So I've clearly done something wrong. For the sake of doing this, let's just say populating gadgets. And just make sure my math is correct. And then we'll just print the name just to see. So got. Okay, so let's try to read, and we'll just make sure that we're reading everything correctly here too. So we see that the name gives us binoculars from the file, so obviously that's reading correctly. When we go to the magic function, it goes down here. It should hopefully match this, right? It instantiates a new binoculars, which should set the name to binoculars. Okay, yep. That goes up here. That should initialize the name correctly, hopefully. And then we return here, and we get here, and so we got, and then we'll see if it seg faults. No. So we got binoculars. Alright. So why is that not working? So we continue. We get here, and it sees... So it appears to be reading maybe one too many things. So it did 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, which is 6 things. Oh, oops, I didn't mean to open that. Neck. Okay, yeah, that appears to be right. Binoculars, coat, umbrella, copter, springs, neck. So I'm clearly reading it in the correct order because these are going there, that's doing that, and it's printing the correct name. The question is, why is it suddenly not working once we get back from here? So I go to here, and gadgets appears to not contain anything because it doesn't tell me binoculars. Or maybe it just gives me the pointer, who knows. So there's clearly an issue here. Name, MZ, yeah, it's uninitialized. So it's giving me an invalid pointer. So the question is, why is it not returning from main correct, or build correctly? That appears to be where the issue is. So if I go to the end of build, just put a return so I can actually exit correctly. Maybe I should actually close this file too. We'll just say infile.close. That shouldn't be a big deal, but I guess I'd like to do it. So let's, oops. Let's go here and see what it says by the end of this part. So by the end of this we get this, and then we say that gadgets, and it appears to still be nothing. And the question is why? So if I just did cout gadgets 0, 0 and line at the very end of it, let's see if it seg faults then. Oh wait, this is just going to print a pointer. That's not really what I want. I want to get the name of this thing. And it gets it, and it says binoculars, which is correct. That is the first thing in the array. Alright, so clearly my build is correct. Am I just going out of bounds or something? Super confused. It's going to be something really simple and I'm just not reading correctly. So it's not able to call this. Oh! Because I'm going out of bounds. This is I, not count. That would be it. So I need to go and change that in all my other functions too. Yeah, sorry. I is counting. Count would be one higher than the amount of things. So it, or I guess it counts how many things are in the array. So if I go and use count, then we know we start indexing at 0, so it's going to be 1 bigger than the last index, and so it's going to be out of bounds. But I is what I'm using to count here. I was just using count to count somewhere else. That sounds confusing, but just have to trust me that this should be alright now. Okay. There we go. Now, maybe... Obviously, that's good. We get here, and then hopefully it will go and actually return the name. Cool, so it gets match binoculars, and then it matches it, which is the first object. Very nice. And then hopefully no seg faults. That looks good. And this prints everything. Maybe it doesn't look great, there's no end line, but go gadget coat skates. We'll just see, does that seem to match? Well, it prints everything. Was there a sample output here? Let's write an end line first. End line, go gadget. Let me just put an end line maybe here. Cout end line. And then we'll do it in go gadget all. Cout end line. And then here it does that. Okay, maybe this will look a little bit nicer now if I print it. And then I just need to go and look at wherever the sample output was. That was the input. This is the skeleton. Do we not have a sample output on this? Assignment 5 vector? No. No, that was for something else. I must have made my own one. I don't really want to look through my grading folder on stream. I'm hoping this is correct. We'll look through and see if this makes sense. I know this was right. I remember there being 6 things. I remember it saying go gadget all. We have binoculars, coat, skates. Is that what it should say? That doesn't sound right. So it goes and it prints the gadgets, would be this part, and then, oh, it goes and it rebuilds them. So this part here should be the gadgets list 2. Which would be binoculars, so let's see. Binoculars, coats, skates, chopper, cuffs, neck, phone, hands, airbag, arms. It's missing arms. So I'm missing one. Oh, no, that's fine. Arms is outside the bounds of the array because the array is 3 by 3. That's okay. No, this is alright because the array holds 9 things, but there are 10 things in the file. So that's actually correct. We made sure not to read the last thing. And then there was nothing called plane, parachute, wings, or glider in the thing that we created. So that all sounds pretty fair. Chopper, and then I guess chopper was something that we had in that original gadgets.source. So chopper was here, but if we check all of these things, we shouldn't see a plane, parachute, or wings, or glider, which I don't see those. So that appears to be correct that we're not finding it. Alright, so that works. And then the last thing we would want to do is just maybe make sure that there are no memory leaks. And I don't quite know how to do that with the C++ debugger. I mean, there's a memory usage part here. Maybe this will show us. Let's try that first. Let me look at this thing. So we'll see, and it closes once it's done. So maybe that's not too helpful. Let's just go to Sally, and we'll use that. So I'll open this, and I'll just SSH at sally.cs.unlv.edu. And I'll type my super secret password, and we will site manager Bobby. Maybe I should do this somewhere else so you can't see all my grading files. That'd be good. Right, so let's go to CS202. I have a file already prepared for this, or directory, and then examples, assignment 5 example, assignment 5 example. Right, okay, so I've put it into a file called cs202/grading. Zoom in a little bit here so that everybody can see it in the recording, and then you'll see that's grading. Probably clear that. CD. I guess it's not a big deal, it's just everybody's names. It's not like it's actually showing your files, but I guess I'd prefer not to show everybody's names. ls. Right, so we have the gadgets.h here, and then we have assignment 5 example.cpp, which is the one we just wrote. So g++ assignment 5.cpp, we run it, that works, and then I just do ./a.out and it should run. And it's segfaults here. Why is it segfault on the server? I didn't even run it with Valgrind either. which I mean should seg fault anyways. So I'm losing memory probably because of that seg fault. Now, where exactly is it seg faulted? Invalid get name. It's giving me that same error again. Oh, I appear to not be using my own gadgets.h. I think I was using a student's. That might be it. Let me just copy everything back over just in case. Oops. I just opened an extra program. Alright, let's recompile that really quick. Now be able to run? Yeah, okay, it doesn't seg fault anymore. Yeah, sorry, I was just using somebody else's gadgets.h. And we're good. 0 bytes and 0 blocks lost. Cool, so we wrote it perfectly. No memory leaks. I'm surprised. Alright, well that's good. That would be it. So, there we go. Assignment 5 is done. In an hour and 7 minutes. It was really that easy. Ha ha ha. No, but this assignment was maybe a little difficult. So I figured this might be useful if everybody has the recording. I know it's on Halloween, so nobody probably wants to show up, but here it is anyways, and I will post the actual source code on Canvas maybe at some point this weekend. Alright, so